Okay, Honorable Asuko, a huge deficit, growth rate, population growth rate, 3%, budgetary or financial growth rate or GDP growth rate, 2.5%. We are running at a deficit in the area of growth. We have the budget's at a deficit about 32.34%. That's about 2.36 trillion naira is what we are in deficit of as the budget is. How would that budget work?
Well, for me, the economist has given analysis. I'm not an economist. I only deal with what is presented for legislative work and the informations that come therein. But for global knowledge, we normally look at all these things at different committee levels. But it would be irresponsible of me not to actually comment on the misrepresentation of what I said by the barrister Ojo. To start with, when I meant that the budget is dead on arrival, means that it is not a public document as at the point in time where it comes to the House. It is a proposal. It is not a law. He as a lawyer knows that what becomes implementable is supposed to be a law. So I was trying to say that when it comes to the House and somebody expects that what he's brought to the House must be given back to him the way it came. I mean, it doesn't work that way because there's a process. We have a duty. Also, to say that there's a tussle for power between the executive, we are working together. But you know, he's right to say that the Constitution was crafted by the military, and so you know certain things did not come from the people. Certain things were not defined. But I think that what we have today is what we're working with, and it is law binding on all of us. And when he says that going to court, there's a clear ruling that has been given on these issues. And as legislators, we need to work with what is law. I know very well that Honorable Justice Gabriel O. Kolawole last year gave a ruling on the issues that were brought by Femi Falana on all these contentions of who has powers to insert, not to insert, who has powers to summon and who to not. And the rulings are very clear. It's there for everybody to read. So as a lawyer, not to know that these matters have been tested in the judiciary and rulings given that has not been contested, it's surprising. And that's why I say when we come to the public, we should come armed and well informed, because we know that Justice Gabriel Kolawole gave a ruling on this matter. And it is there and it is law. It is what we all will have to live with. There's no contention between us and the executive. There's no contention saying minister is less or not. What we are trying to encourage and what we tell them when we say, when you are in the process of preparing your budget estimates, for the reason of us not putting away delays to these budgets being passed, let us know what your intentions are. Let there be constructive engagement so that we can agree and disagree on things that are supposed to be what the Nigerian... I give you an example. Yes, on our engagement with the executive, I'm chairman committee on power. There are issues saying that the money for generating power at the Mambila power station has been cut and diverted to other things. It's not true. What Mambila power station project is not even off the shelf. It's still work in progress. The contract has not been signed as we're talking. They just got the BPP certificate some days ago. So, and somebody brings a caption, a line item, 17.8 billion for EIA for Mambila. Of course, we've been to Mambila. And we know that from records in the last 10 years, we have been expending on all these studies of EIA and other things in the Mambila plateau for this same project. And we said, this cannot be. Can we have details? Details are not provided, and you expect us to be magicians to know what was the intentions of the executive in their mind? Just a document brought and say EIA 17 point. It's not right. Okay. We have gone to other power plants like the Zungeru power plant that is over 50% in process. It needs funds to give access road to communities, to create social corporate response for the community, so that there will be no crisis for the projects to go on and other ongoing projects. I think it is responsibility why we're here as legislators to allocate these funds where it's most needed.
Okay.
And some of these contentions, as I said, we have had an agreement. So there was really no need for all these issues that the Honorable Minister brought to bear, that there's cutting money. We had agreed that environments will be accepted and consented to if it is in line with the normal the normal legislative procedures.
Okay. If I may come in real quick here, the question we want to ask as we begin to wind our eyes: does the National Assembly expect that this budget that has been passed would be implemented to the letter?
In 6 months?
Yes. Well, the executive, it's their duty to implement the budget. And the acting president says there would be a new proposal coming in October, and so we should be prepared to give, to put legislative work and prepare it for passage and assent in January. Well, we believe that it's the executive know where fundings will come from. We have looked at it together. We'll work with them to see how the timelines they have set for themselves and for all of us is practicable. So for me to say that I would know what will happen in 6 months' time, I think that I would not be telling Nigerians the truth. I would only say that we are ready and ever available to work with the executive to make sure that the timelines and what they want for the best interests of Nigeria is delivered as at when due.
Just before we leave you, what would you say to those who say that the budget was not treated with the urgency that it required by the legislature?
Not that it was not treated by the urgency required. These are the things. The budget was presented, and when it was laid in the House, there are processes. And these processes have to follow diligent and tortuous activities that would bring it for everybody to accept that it is what Nigerians need, and when it goes to the executive, there won't be much of these issues we're seeing today. We think that going forward, we would continue to see what we can do as a responsible House to make sure that the timelines given is followed. And it's also responsible to the executive to always bring informations, detailed informations attached to what the proposals they bring to the House, so that we can collectively make sure that the budget is passed as at when due.
Thank you. Now, closing statements, please.
No,
Dr. Adi.
My take is that when the budget is being passed in June, okay, and the legislature got the opportunity to work on the budget, they should have streamlined the budget and brought it into a 6 months time horizon. So we shouldn't be playing the ostrich, okay? I think it's foolhardy to make a 1-year budget and you plan to implement it in 6 months when you were not able to implement a 1-year budget in 1 year. So I think it doesn't make sense. Give us a 6 months budget. We try to implement what is implementable within 6 months, and then at the end of that, by January, start the new year, start the new cycle. Okay. What's the problem with that?
Okay.
I think the legislature, they are actually setting a trap for the executive. Because of the delay, they know that they will not be able to implement. Also, by including certain projects that these people did not actually propose, how did they arrive at the cost of those projects? It means they have been negotiating with contractors. It means to come to the amount that they themselves now fixed in those budgets. It means they are already performing executive functions. You understand? Now, if the executive now fails to implement, they will now try to impeach them. I think in summary, I think the money at the national level is just too much. And there is need to restructure. A good fiscal restructuring in this country is urgently required.
Okay, thank you very much. Ojo, legal practitioner, Dan Asukwo, Dr. Bongo Adi, lecturer, Lagos Business School, as well as Mr. Dan Asukwo, chairman, House Committee on Power who joined us from our studio in Abuja. Thank you all very much, gentlemen, for sharing your insights with us.
Thanks so much.